I was cleaning blood off a Jane Doe's shoulder in the ER when I saw it. A tattoo, 7 stars forming a phoenix constellation, in the exact spot where my sister had a birthmark before she died in a house fire 15 years ago. But what made my hand start shaking wasn't the tattoo. It was when she opened her eyes, looked directly at me, and whispered the nickname only Emma ever called me. Lighthouse. Before we begin, I need to ask you something. Have you ever seen something that made you question everything you thought you knew about your past? Something that turned your entire world upside down in a single moment? Share your story in the comments below. And please, subscribe for more stories about the secrets families bury and the truth that refuses to stay hidden. Now let me take you back to that impossible night. My name is Claire Davenport. I'm 32 years old. I've been a trauma nurse at Memorial Hospital in Portland, Oregon for 8 years. I work the night shift because I can't sleep anyway. Because for 15 years, I've been running from a grief I can't outrun. Emma died when she was 12. I was 17. House fire. Accidental, they said. Candles in her bedroom that she wasn't supposed to have. Old house, dry wood, everything went up fast. We had a closed casket funeral. The body was too damaged from the fire. My parents never saw her. We just trusted what they told us. Trusted the dental records. Buried someone on a rainy Tuesday and tried to keep breathing. After Emma died, my family shattered like glass. My parents blamed each other, blamed themselves. Within a year, they were divorced. Mom moved to Phoenix with a new husband. Dad stayed in Seattle and drank himself quiet. And me, I became a nurse. Because I couldn't save my sister, so I'd save strangers instead. For 15 years, I visited Emma's grave every Sunday. Brought flowers, talked to a headstone like she could hear me. The only thing I kept from our childhood was one photograph. Emma and me at Cape Cod. She was 7, I was 10. We were building sandcastles, and she was laughing with her head thrown back, pure joy on her face. In the sunlight, you could see her birthmark clearly. 7 freckles on her right shoulder blade. Not random. They formed a constellation. 3 freckles in a triangle, 4 more spreading out like wings. I used to tease her about it, called her Starfish because she had stars on her back. And she called me Lighthouse. Said I always watched out for her. Always kept her safe. Lighthouse and Starfish. Our private language. Nobody else knew those names. After she died, I never said them out loud again. That Thursday night started like any other. 11:47 p.m. Multi-car pileup on Highway 26. I was in Trauma Bay 2 when they wheeled her in. Female, approximately 25 to 27 years old. No identification, no purse, no phone. Unconscious, head trauma, broken ribs, defensive wounds on her forearms. Dr. Patel took one look at her arms and said, "Possible domestic violence. Document everything for the police." I started my assessment. Cut away her bloodied clothing, photographed the injuries, standard protocol. When I reached her shoulder, I grabbed gauze to clean a deep laceration from the crash. That's when I saw it. The tattoo. 7 stars, black ink, delicate lines connecting them, 3 forming a base, 4 spreading upward like wings taking flight. My hands froze. I stared. It wasn't just similar to Emma's birthmark. It was identical. Same placement. Right shoulder blade, 3 inches from the spine. Same pattern. Same constellation. The gauze fell from my hand. This is coincidence, I told myself. Lots of people have constellation tattoos. This doesn't mean anything. But my hands were shaking. Because Emma died at 12, which would make her 27 now. And this woman looked about 27. Blonde hair like Emma. Green eyes like Emma. The same narrow face. The same gap between her front teeth. Stop it, Claire. You're seeing things that aren't there. At 1:15 a.m., her eyes fluttered open. I moved closer. Hey, you're okay. You're in the hospital. You were in a car accident. Can you hear me? She blinked slowly, disoriented, terrified. Can you tell me your name? She stared at me, tried to speak. Her lips moved, but nothing came out. It's okay. Take your time. You're safe here. Nobody can hurt you. Her voice was a whisper. I don't know. You don't know your name? She shook her head, tears forming. I was running. Someone was chasing me. Who was chasing you? I don't know. I can't remember. Dr. Patel came in to check her pupils, asked standard questions. She couldn't answer most of them. Day of the week, current president, her own birthday. Possible amnesia from the head trauma, he said. We'll monitor her closely. After he left, I pulled a chair next to her bed, took her hand. I know you're scared, but you're safe now, I promise. My name is Claire. I'm your nurse. I'm going to take care of you. She looked at me then, really looked at me, and something changed in her face. Her eyes widened. Recognition flickered across her features like lightning. Her grip on my hand tightened. You, she whispered. My heart started pounding. What? What is it? She was staring at my face like she was trying to remember something just out of reach. Like pieces of a puzzle were clicking together in her damaged, confused mind. And then she said it. One word that shattered 15 years of grief into 1,000 pieces. Lighthouse. The world stopped. The monitors kept beeping. The fluorescent lights kept humming. The hospital kept moving around us. But I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. What did you say? Tears streamed down her face. Lighthouse? Your lighthouse. I stumbled backward. My legs hit the medical cart. Supplies crashed to the floor. The blood pressure monitor started alarming. Lighthouse, the nickname Emma gave me when we were children. The nickname no one else in the entire world knew. The nickname that died with my sister 15 years ago. How do you know that name? My voice was shaking, rising. How do you know that name? She was crying now, fully crying, confused and scared. I don't know why I said that. When I saw your face, Dr. Patel rushed back in. Claire, what happened? I heard the alarm. I couldn't answer him. I was staring at this woman, this stranger, this impossible person lying in front of me. She had a tattoo of my dead sister's birthmark. She knew a nickname that only my dead sister ever used. She was the exact age my dead sister would be. I pushed past Dr. Patel, out of the room, into the hallway, leaned against the cold wall trying to remember how to breathe. My colleague Jasmine found me. Claire, what's going on? Are you okay? I need a minute. Should I page someone? You look like you're going to pass out. No, I'm fine. I just need air. But I wasn't fine. Nothing was fine, because that woman in there had Emma's birthmark as a tattoo, and she'd called me by a name that died 15 years ago. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to a number I hadn't called in 8 months. My mother answered on the 4th ring, groggy, annoyed. Claire, it's 2 in the morning. What's wrong? Mom, my voice was shaking. I need you to tell me everything about the night Emma died. Silence. Claire, why are you bringing this up? It's been 15 years. You need to... How did they identify her body? What? How did they identify Emma's body? Tell me exactly what happened. A long pause. The fire was too destructive. They used dental records. Dr. Morrison confirmed it was her. Did you ever see her? Did you or Dad ever actually look at the body? It was a closed casket, Claire. They wouldn't let us see her. They said it would be too traumatic. So you never saw Emma's body, you just trusted the dental records. Yes, and her personal effects. They found her pajamas in the debris. Her necklace with the dolphin charm. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought it might break through my ribs. Mom, I have a patient here. She's approximately 27 years old. She has Emma's birthmark, except it's a tattoo. In the exact same spot. The exact same pattern. I heard my mother's sharp intake of breath. And, Mom? My voice broke. She called me Lighthouse? The silence on the other end was absolute. That's impossible, my mother whispered. Emma is dead, Claire. We buried her. Did we? Or did we bury someone else? Claire, you're not thinking straight. You're tired. You've been working too many. Is there anything about that night that didn't make sense? Anything that bothered you? Another long, painful silence. Then quietly, the window. What window? Emma's bedroom window? The fire chief asked us about it. He said they found it open, in the middle of a February. He wanted to know why Emma would have her window open when it was freezing outside. My blood turned to ice. What did you tell him? I said maybe she opened it trying to escape. Maybe she was trying to get air when the smoke got bad. But, Claire, her voice cracked. Emma hated being cold. You remember that? She would never, never open her window in February. An open window. In the middle of winter. During a deadly fire. Or an exit point for someone taking a 12-year-old girl. I went back to the room. The woman was calmer now, staring at the ceiling with tears still streaming down her face. I sat in the chair beside her bed. I need to ask you something, I said quietly. And I need you to tell me the truth, even if you don't understand why you know it. She turned her head to look at me. Why did you call me Lighthouse? She closed her eyes, frustrated, searching for memories that wouldn't come. I don't know. I don't remember. When I saw your face, that word just came out, like it was already there, like I've always known it. Do you remember anything? Anything at all about your life before tonight? Flashes, just flashes, smoke, screaming, someone grabbing me, cold air, being in a car for a long time, different houses, different rooms. They kept calling me different names. Sarah, Jennifer, Amy. I don't know which one is real. I don't know if any of them are real. What about the name Emma? Does that mean anything to you? Her eyes flew open. Pure, visceral panic flooded her face. I need to leave. She tried to sit up, pulling at her IV. I need to get out of here. They'll find me. They always find me. Wait, who will find you? Who are you afraid of? I don't know. She was crying again, fighting against the wires. I just know I have to run. I have to keep running or they'll... I hit the call button. Dr. Patel rushed in, saw her distress, ordered a mild sedative. Before the medication took effect, she grabbed my arm with surprising strength. Her green eyes locked onto mine. Lighthouse, she whispered desperately. They took me from the fire. I tried to come home. I tried so many times. But I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember where home was. Her grip loosened as the sedative pulled her under. Her hand fell away. Her eyes closed. I sat there in that quiet hospital room, watching this stranger sleep, and I knew 3 things with absolute certainty. 1, this woman had a tattoo of my dead sister's birthmark in the exact same location with the exact same pattern. 2, this woman knew a nickname that only my dead sister ever used. 3, this woman just said someone took her from a fire. I had spent 15 years believing my sister was dead. 15 years mourning her. 15 years visiting her grave. 15 years blaming myself for not being there to save her. But what if Emma didn't die in that fire? What if she was taken? What if, after 15 years of darkness, my sister had finally found her way back to me? I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. At 6 a.m., I requested emergency family leave and drove home with one purpose: find the truth. I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop and typed a name into the search bar. Michael Brennan, the man whose car the Jane Doe was driving when she crashed, the man who died 3 days ago. His obituary came up first. Michael Brennan, 58, contractor, lived alone in rural Salem, died suddenly of cardiac arrest while driving. Then I found something else, a news article from 16 years ago. Local man questioned in missing child case. My hands started shaking as I read. Michael Brennan, 42, was questioned by police regarding the disappearance of 8-year-old Jessica Porter. Brennan, who worked as a contractor for the Porter family, was seen near their home the day Jessica vanished. Police found no evidence linking Brennan to the disappearance. He was released without charges. Jessica Porter has not been found. I stared at the screen. Brennan was suspected of kidnapping a child 1 year before Emma died. This wasn't coincidence. This was a pattern. I called Detective Warren, the officer handling the car accident case. "I need to talk to you about your Jane Doe." We met at a coffee shop an hour later. I brought everything: the photograph of Emma, the news article about Jessica Porter, the fire report I'd requested from Beaverton Fire Department overnight. Warren listened, took notes. His expression shifted from skeptical to concerned. "You think your sister, who died 15 years ago, is actually this accident victim?" "I think someone took my sister from that fire and made it look like she died. I think Michael Brennan took her, just like he probably took Jessica Porter." "Based on a tattoo and a nickname?" "Based on an open window in February during a fire. Based on a body my parents never saw. Based on a man with a history of child abduction who died 3 days before this woman escaped." I leaned forward. "Detective, your Jane Doe said someone was chasing her. She said they kept her somewhere. She's terrified. That's probable cause to search his property." Warren was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone. "I'll request the warrant. But Claire, even if you're right, even if she is your sister, you need to prepare yourself. She's been through hell. The girl you knew is gone." "I know, but she's still Emma. And she's still my sister." While Warren worked on the warrant, I drove to Beaverton, to our old house, the house where Emma supposedly died. A new family lived there now. I sat in my car across the street, staring at Emma's old bedroom window on the second floor, the window that was open in February. I remembered that night. I was at a friend's house for a sleepover. My phone rang at 2 a.m., my mom's voice screaming, incoherent. My dad in the background broken. The fire. Emma. Gone. I remembered rushing to the hospital where they'd taken my parents. My mom collapsed in. The waiting room. My dad just standing there, staring at nothing. A doctor saying Emma didn't make it. But nobody ever said they saw her body. My phone rang. Detective Warren. "I got the warrant. We're executing it now. You can't be on site, but I'll call you with updates." "Thank you." I sat in my car, waiting, staring at that window. 2 hours felt like 2 years. When Warren finally called back, his voice was different, shaken. "Claire, we found something behind a false wall in the utility room, a hidden basement." My heart stopped. "What was in it?" "A room, reinforced walls, soundproofed. Heavy lock on the outside. There's a bed, a bucket, and photographs, dozens of photographs on the walls." I couldn't breathe. "Photographs of what?" "Girls, different ages. Your Jane Doe is in several of them. We can track her from approximately age 12 to present day." Oh my God. "Claire, there are other girls too, at least 4 different faces. One matches the description of Jessica Porter." Are they alive?" Silence. Then, "We found remains. We're excavating the property now. It looks like at least 3 bodies buried on site." I thought I was going to be sick. "There's more," Warren said. "We found a file cabinet, forged documents, birth certificates, social security cards, and letters. Correspondence between Brennan and someone else. Someone who helped him." "Who?" "A name keeps appearing in the letters. Dr. Philip Morrison." The world tilted sideways. "That's impossible. Dr. Morrison was Emma's dentist." "The same dentist who provided the dental records that identified your sister's body?" "Yes." Warren's voice was grim. "Claire, I think your dentist helped fake your sister's death. We're bringing him in for questioning right now." I sat in my car outside my childhood home, and suddenly everything made sense. Dr. Morrison knew Emma, had her dental records, had access to everything he needed to make a false identification. Brennan set the fire. Rigged it somehow. Waited outside Emma's window with a ladder. When she opened the window to escape the smoke, he was there. Told her he'd save her. Took her instead. And Morrison covered it up. Provided false records. Made my parents believe they were burying their daughter when they were burying a stranger. They stole my sister. And they made us grieve for 15 years. My phone buzzed. A text from the hospital. Jane Doe awake. Asking for you. I drove back to Memorial Hospital. Walked into her room. She was sitting up now. Calmer. But her eyes were haunted. I remembered something, she said quietly. Your face. I remembered your face. We were at a beach. You were older. You called me Starfish. Tears streamed down my face. What else do you remember? A fire. Smoke everywhere. My door wouldn't open. I ran to the window. A man was there with a ladder. He said my family was dead, that the fire killed them, that he saved me. Her voice broke. He put me in a van, drove for hours, took me to a basement. How long were you there? Years. I don't know how many. He told me if I tried to escape, he'd kill my family. So I stayed. I survived. I waited. She looked at me with green eyes that were so familiar. It hurt. Until he died, 3 days ago. Heart attack while he was driving. And I realized I was free. I took his wallet, his keys. I ran. I didn't know where I was going. I just drove until I crashed. I sat on the edge of her bed, took both her hands. Emma, I whispered. Your name is Emma. You're my sister. She stared at me, testing the name. Emma. Yes. I think I remember that name. I pulled out my phone, showed her the photograph. 2 girls at the beach building sandcastles. She touched the screen with a shaking finger. That's me. That's us. Yes, 20 years ago, before he took you. He told me I had no family, that I was alone in the world. You were never alone. I never stopped looking for you. I visited your grave every week. I talked to you. I never let you go. Emma started crying. I have a grave? They buried someone else. We didn't know. We thought you were dead. But Emma, you're alive. You're here. And I'm never letting you go again. She looked at me with 15 years of pain in her eyes. The man at the window, Brennan. Is he your... He's dead. He can't hurt you anymore. And the other man? The one who came to the basement sometimes? The one who gave me medicine when I got sick? Dr. Morrison, the police arrested him this morning. Emma closed her eyes. Good, because there were others. Before me, a girl named Jessica. She tried to teach me how to survive, how to keep him calm. But one day she fought back. And he... She couldn't finish. I held her while she cried. You're safe now, I whispered. I promise. You're safe. But even as I said it, I knew the hard part was just beginning. Detective Warren called the next morning. We need Emma to testify. Morrison's lawyer is claiming the letters are forged. Without her testimony, he might walk. She's barely holding it together. You want her to face the man who helped destroy her life? I know what I'm asking. But Claire, without her, we might not get justice for any of them. When Emma woke up, I told her what Warren needed. She was quiet for a long time. He came to the basement 3 times, she finally said. Once when I got sick. Morrison brought antibiotics. Another time when I tried to escape. He sedated me while Brennan chained my ankle. She looked at me. I'll testify. For Jessica. For the others. They don't have voices anymore. I do. My parents arrived that afternoon. My mother walked into Emma's hospital room and her knees gave out. Just collapsed. My father caught her. My baby, Mom sobbed. Oh God, Emma, my baby girl. Emma sat stiffly in the bed. Didn't reach for her. Didn't cry. You buried someone else, Emma said quietly. Had a funeral. Moved on with your lives. We thought you were dead, Mom's voice broke. The dental records matched. They showed us your pajamas, your necklace. We had no reason to doubt. Did you look? Emma's voice was cold, sharp. Did you question anything, or did you just accept it because it was easier than hoping I was still out there somewhere? The words hit like a physical blow. Mom couldn't speak. My father stood in the doorway, tears streaming down his face. He looked old, broken. We failed you, Dad said, his voice barely a whisper. Every single day for 15 years, we failed you. You were in that basement, and we were living our lives thinking you were at peace. I wasn't at peace. I was terrified, alone, waiting for you to come find me. Emma's voice cracked. But you never came. Because we didn't know, I said softly, sitting beside her. Emma, if we'd had even the smallest hint that you were alive, we would have torn apart the entire state to find you. But you didn't know, because you didn't question. You accepted what they told you. She looked at our parents. I don't know if I can forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Mom nodded through her tears. I understand, but please let us try. Let us be here for you now. The preliminary hearing was 3 days later. Emma was terrified. Her hands shook so badly she couldn't hold a glass of water. What if I freeze up there? What if I can't speak? Then you look at me. Just focus on me. I'll be right there. In the courtroom, Dr. Morrison sat at the defense table in an expensive suit, looking confident. When Emma walked in, his face went pale. The prosecutor was gentle. Ms. Davenport, do you recognize the defendant? Emma stared at Morrison. Yes, that's Dr. Morrison. He was my dentist when I was a child. Did you see him after the fire? Yes, 3 times in the basement where Michael Brennan kept me. Morrison's lawyer objected immediately. My client has no knowledge of any basement. The prosecutor showed photographs from Brennan's property, the hidden room, the photographs on the walls, Emma at different ages. Ms. Davenport, can you describe the first time Dr. Morrison visited you in captivity? Emma's voice was steady now, strong. I'd been there about 3 months. I got pneumonia. I was coughing so hard I couldn't breathe. Brennan was worried I'd die, so he called Morrison. Morrison came down to the basement with antibiotics and an inhaler. He didn't look at me like a person. He looked at me like a problem that needed to be managed. Did he say anything? He told Brennan to be more careful, that if I died, all their planning would be wasted. Emma's eyes never left Morrison's face. Then he looked at me and said, Your family already buried you. Nobody's looking for you anymore. You need to accept that this is your life now. The courtroom was completely silent. Can you describe the second time? I was 15. I tried to escape, broke Brennan's nose with a lamp and ran for the stairs. Brennan caught me and called Morrison. Morrison came with sedatives. He held me down while Brennan injected me. Her voice shook but didn't break. When I woke up, I had a chain around my ankle. It stayed there for 2 years. The prosecutor showed the jury letters between Brennan and Morrison, discussing payment, discussing merchandise, discussing how to identify vulnerable families. One letter, dated 3 weeks before Emma's fire, made my mother gasp from the gallery. The Davenport girl is perfect. Parents are fighting, talking divorce. Older sister leaving for college soon, they're distracted. They won't look too hard. The prosecutor turned back to Emma. Ms. Davenport, in your own words, what did these men take from you? Emma looked at Morrison, then at the jury. They took my childhood, my family, my identity. They took 15 years of my life. They took my sister's senior year because she spent it grieving instead of living. They took my parents' marriage. They destroyed my family. She paused. But they didn't take my voice. And I'm using it now. For Jessica Porter, who fought back and died for it. For the 3 other girls whose remains they found on Brennan's property. For every family still searching. I survived so I could speak for all of them. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Dr. Philip Morrison was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. When the verdict was read, Emma didn't smile, didn't celebrate. She just reached for my hand and squeezed it tight. "It's over," she whispered. "It's finally over." But we both knew it wasn't over. The legal battle was done. The healing had just begun. That night, back in her hospital room, Emma asked quietly, "What happens now?" "Now you heal. Now you live. Now you get to decide who you want to be." I don't know who that is. I was 12 when he took me. Now I'm 27. I missed everything: high school, college, first love, first job, first everything. Her voice broke. "How do I become a person when I don't even know what kind of person I'm supposed to be?" "Then we'll figure it out together, one day at a time." Will it ever stop hurting? I thought about my own 15 years of grief. I don't know, but the pain changes. It becomes something you carry instead of something that carries you. Emma leaned her head on my shoulder. "I'm glad it was you," she said softly. "In that ER. Anyone else wouldn't have recognized the tattoo, wouldn't have known the nickname. It had to be you. I think some part of me was always looking for you, in every patient, every face. I never stopped being your lighthouse. And I never stopped being your starfish." We sat there in the quiet hospital room, 2 sisters who'd found each other across an impossible distance. The girl I'd buried wasn't Emma, but the woman sitting beside me was. And that was all that mattered. Chapter 4. The Lighthouse Keeper. Runtime: 24 ishi, 31 sarishu, 7 minutes. 500 words. 6 months after the trial, Emma moved in with me. She couldn't live with our parents, too much trauma, too many unanswered questions. They understood. It hurt them, but they understood. Healing wasn't simple. Emma had nightmares every single night. She'd wake up screaming, clawing at invisible chains, thinking she was back in that basement. I'd hold her until the shaking stopped, until she remembered she was free. She couldn't be in elevators, couldn't handle locked doors. Basements were impossible. Crowds made her hyperventilate, and the guilt ate at her constantly. "Why did I live?" she'd ask at 3 in the morning, crying in my arms. "Jessica fought back and died. The others died. Why am I the one who survived?" "Because you were strong enough to endure. Because you never gave up. I gave up 1,000 times. I wanted to die so many times. But you didn't. You're here. And that matters." Therapy helped. Twice a week with Dr. Sarah Chen, a trauma specialist who understood captivity survivors. Slowly, painfully, Emma started processing 15 years of stolen life. We worked on basic things: getting her a new ID, Emma Davenport, officially alive again, learning to use a smartphone, how to order food without panicking, how to exist in a world that had moved on without her. Our parents visited every week. Mom brought food, tried to help. Dad just held Emma's hand and apologized over and over. "I should have known. I should have questioned everything." Emma still hadn't forgiven them. Maybe she never would. That was her right. 3 months after moving in, Emma told me she wanted to meet the families of the other girls. "You don't owe them anything. You need to focus on your own healing." I'm the only one who can tell them about their daughters. That's how I heal, by making something good come from something terrible. So we arranged meetings. Jessica Porter's mother, Margaret, was 67 now, frail, haunted by 16 years of searching. "Tell me about my Jessica," she whispered. Emma held her hands. She was brave. When I arrived terrified and 12 years old, she protected me, taught me how to survive, how to keep him calm. She was kind when she had every reason to be angry. Emma's voice was steady. She fought back. She tried to escape, and she died fighting. She never broke. She never gave up who she was. Margaret sobbed. Thank you. Thank you for remembering her, for telling me she was brave. Emma met with 3 other families, gave them pieces of their lost daughters, told them things the police reports never could, and something shifted in her. I survive for a reason, Emma told me one night. I'm supposed to help others, families searching, survivors healing. This is my purpose. We started the Lighthouse Foundation together, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting families of missing children and survivors of long-term captivity. Emma became the face of it. She spoke at conferences, worked with law enforcement, pushed for mandatory DNA testing when bodies couldn't be visually identified. If someone had questioned those dental records, if someone had demanded DNA proof, I might have been found years earlier, Emma said in interviews. We need better protocols, better systems, so no other family waits 15 years for the truth. Her story went national, became a rallying cry for reform. Emma still struggled, still had nightmares, still panicked in small spaces. But she also had purpose, hope, a future she was building with her own hands. 1 year after I found her in that ER, we drove to Cape Cod, back to the beach where that photograph was taken, back to where Emma first called me Lighthouse. We stood together at the real lighthouse, looking out at the ocean. For 15 years, I was in the dark, Emma said quietly. That basement had one tiny window. I could barely see the sky, but I'd look up at that little rectangle of light and imagine you, my lighthouse, guiding me home. Tears streamed down my face. I was looking for you too, in every patient, every stranger's face. Some part of me always knew you were still out there. Emma smiled, a real smile, the first truly happy smile I'd seen since she came back. I lost 15 years, but I have the rest of my life, and I'm going to make every single day count. We both are, together. She linked her arm through mine. Come on, Lighthouse, let's go home. And we did. Not to the past, not to the graves and the lies and the years of grief. We went home to the future we were building together. A future where Emma wasn't defined by what was taken from her, but by what she chose to create from what remained. A future where the girl who was stolen at 12 became the woman who saved others at 27. A future where Lighthouse and Starfish refused to ever let go again. People ask me how I recognized Emma after 15 years, how I knew from just a tattoo and a nickname that my dead sister was alive. The truth is, some bonds transcend time and trauma and even death itself. That tattoo wasn't just ink on skin. It was a message carried through 15 years of darkness. It was Emma's way of remembering herself, of staying connected to the girl she was before monsters stole her. And when she whispered Lighthouse in that hospital room, she wasn't just remembering a childhood nickname. She was calling me home, telling me she'd never stop being my sister, even when she couldn't remember her own name. Sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries happen in the most ordinary places. A busy emergency room on a Thursday night, a routine patient examination, a constellation of stars that unlocked 15 years of buried secrets. These small moments changed our lives forever. If this story teaches anything, it's this. Never stop questioning. Never stop searching. Never stop hoping. Because sometimes the people we've lost aren't gone. They're just waiting for someone to recognize them, waiting for someone to call them home. We are Lighthouse and Starfish, sisters separated by darkness, reunited by hope, and together, we're making sure no other family has to wait 15 years for their miracle. What do you think about Emma's incredible 15-year journey from victim to survivor to advocate? How would you react if you discovered a family member you thought was dead was actually alive? Would you be able to forgive parents who stopped searching? Share your honest thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story moved you, if Emma's strength inspired you, please show your support by hitting that like button. It truly helps us share stories like Emma's with people who need to hear them. Stories about hope, about survival, about the unbreakable bonds that connect us even across impossible distances. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. We share incredible true stories every week. Stories about resilience, second chances, family secrets, and the extraordinary things that happen to ordinary people. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for listening to Emma and Claire's story, for staying with them through the darkness and celebrating their reunion. And remember, never stop questioning what you're told. Never stop searching for the truth. Never stop hoping for miracles. Because somewhere out there, someone might be waiting for you to be their lighthouse in the darkness.